As the month draws to a close, the shopkeeper hands Daniel his payslip, noting that he's included a little extra this time due to Daniel's hard work. He suggests that Daniel consider buying a gift for his parents. Reflecting on this, Daniel decides he wants to get his mom something new and cozy, especially since he noticed her sleeves were quite worn the last time they met. He makes his way to a large clothing store and greets an employee, asking her to guide him to the women's section. They share a laugh, with the employee whispering to a colleague that it's hard to believe he has a girlfriend, so it must be for his mom instead. She warns him that the prices are on the higher side and questions whether he can afford it. Daniel thinks to himself that it's been a while since he's experienced this kind of treatment. Afterward, he boards a bus and greets a woman, informing her that he'll be sitting next to her. She grimaces but begrudgingly shifts over. When the bus finally arrives at its stop, Daniel finds himself back in his old neighborhood. A wave of anxiety washes over him at the thought of possibly running into someone he knows, fearing he might get into trouble. Just then he hears someone call his name. It's a former classmate who used to witness Daniel getting bullied regularly. He gestures for him to take a seat and have a conversation beneath the gazebo. He informs Daniel that after he left, Logan was extremely angry. The people that used to witness Logan's bullying has been steering clear of him, not wanting to become his next target. Daniel can't help but wonder why this classmate is suddenly being so friendly. They hadn't exchanged a word until now. As he glances down, he notices his classmate is busy typing on his phone. Daniel suspects he might be messaging Logan and his crew to come over. He tries to say that he's in a rush and needs to go, but just as his classmate tries to hold him back, a ball comes soaring through the air and smacks him right on the side of the face. A guy, a girl, and the messy look-alike appear. The guy asks Daniel why he transferred schools without informing anyone, mentioning how lonely they've all felt without him. He chuckles at Daniel's classmate and reveals that since he's taken on the role of the new Pikachu, he actually wanted them to beat him Daniel for a break. They start digging through Daniel's belongings, pulling out an envelope and a bag of clothes. The guy rummages through the wallet and discovers a $50 bill that Daniel's mom had given him. They thank Daniel for the cash, but just as they're about to leave, Daniel tells them that they've taken all the money from the envelope but need to return the $5 left in his wallet. Fear causes his hands to tremble. The guy grips Daniel's shoulder, calling him an arrogant loser and questioning his audacity to ask for mercy. He tightens his hold, but it pales in comparison to Vasco's infamous grip. Daniel seizes his wrist and forcefully pushes him to the ground, demanding his $5 back. The guy is taken aback by Daniel's unexpected strength, wondering if he's been hitting the gym. The messy look-alike attempts a head kick, but Daniel remains unfazed. He catches the kick just before impact and throws him down as well. Daniel reflects that this is the first time he's been able to look down on someone after a fight. However, before he can enjoy the moment, he spots a very familiar figure entering the scene. Logan Lee, his arch-nemesis. He traps Pikachu and questions whether he fled because he didn't enjoy their time together. Daniel perceives Logan as a menacing figure, unable to meet his gaze and fixated on the ground. The guy starts kicking Daniel, demanding to know why he embarrassed him in front of his girlfriend. Logan glances at the cash in the envelope and praises him for the amount he has. He instructs Pikachu number 2 to take notes from Daniel and learn from him, as he doesn't make nearly as much. However, he warns that if he attempts to escape, he will track him down and end him. Logan informs Daniel that he'll allow him to graduate from being a Pikachu, which leaves him stunned. He mentions that since he has moved, he has found a new Pikachu. "You can consider this a graduation gift," Logan adds, while counting the money in the envelope. He walks away, cautioning Daniel to keep his distance from his block, and waves a farewell. The girl also hands back the clothes her mom gifted him. We shift scenes to find Jay on a phone call while soaking in the bath. The voice on the other end expresses regret for not being able to meet him again for Thanksgiving and suggests that Jay take a solo trip to clear his mind. After ending the call, he turns on the TV, where a reporter highlights Busan as an excellent vacation destination. As Jay steps out of the bath, we notice his computer is open, revealing that he has booked a ticket to Busan. Meanwhile, we return to Daniel, who has reached his mother's workplace. The two women inform him that his mother usually leaves during her break. He begins to scan the streets, thinking about the gift for his mother and how delighted she will be when he gives it to her. Just then, he hears someone shouting. It's a store employee reprimanding his mom for trying to take the cardboard explaining they already have someone to handle their trash. The employee allows her to take it, but only this once. Daniel's heart sinks as he realizes she has taken on another job to cover his school fees. Back at the house, Daniel's mom is thrilled to try on the new jersey her son gifted her. She reflects on how grown-up Daniel has become, able to buy such nice clothes. Daniel then brings up his roommate, asking if he can join them for the holidays. Meanwhile, Daniel waits for his bus, and passers-by comment on how he resembles a celebrity. He thinks to himself that with his new physique, he can finally get back at Logan and reclaim the precious $5 bill his mom gave him. Just then, Jay shows up, catching Daniel off guard. Daniel mentions he's heading to a friend's place in Sunukdo and asks about Jay's plans. We see Jay clutching a ticket to Busan. They board the bus together, and when Daniel tells the woman next to him that he has the inside seat, she blushes and quickly moves aside to let him in. He thinks about how he needs a solid reason for being there and for taking turns sleeping to switch with his other body. Jay sits behind him, gazing out the window, and Daniel thinks about the chances that they share the same destination and the same bus even. In the meantime, Jay secretly grins to himself as his ticket lies discarded in the trash at the bus station. The duo arrives at Daniel's house, where his mom greets them with a warm smile while busy packing cardboard boxes. Daniel offers to lend a hand, but she politely declines, explaining that it would be impolite to make guests do her chores. She wishes both Jay and Daniel a good night before heading off to bed, as she has an early start the next day. Daniel glances at his other self and tells Jay that the person sleeping is actually his friend. As night falls, Daniel, now in his new body, goes to sleep while his original body wakes up. He mentions to Jay that he's heard about him from his friend. Jay then hands Daniel a stick of gum. Although it's the wrong brand, meant for those trying to quit smoking, Daniel appreciates the gesture nonetheless. He sits down to fold the cardboard boxes and shares that his mom had given his friends, Daniel, a $5 bill, which was unfortunately stolen because of him. My mom gave it to him from selling these boxes, Daniel explains. It may not be much, but to him, it was a lucky charm. The scene shifts to the next day, where we see Logan handing an envelope to someone. They glance at the cash in the envelope and deliver a sharp slap to his face. They tell him that his contribution falls short of the monthly quota. He offers an apology, but they warn him not to let this happen again. Logan begins to protest, scratching his jewels and pointing out that the usual quota is only $1,000 per grade. He argues that it's unfair for him to collect 3 times what others are expected to contribute each month. The leader retaliates by kicking Logan, telling him to mind his words. He threatens to wash Logan's mouth out with soap, stating he's been lenient because they share the same studio, but he can't give him any more chances. You better pay up by next week, the leader commands as he strides out. The scene shifts to a grand hotel, where the manager is seen greeting one of his VIP guests. As the camera pulls back, we see that the esteemed visitor is Jay, looking sophisticated in his robe and sipping a glass of red wine. The manager mentions that he has looked into the individual Jay inquired about. He describes the person as a student named Logan Lee, notorious for being a troublemaker and a bully at school. As the manager exits, he questions Jay about his interest in Logan, adding that Logan is also a black belt in jiu-jitsu. We shift back to Logan. We find the studio's leader and his 2 companions sprawled out on the floor, unconscious. With a low growl, he warns them that since he has bested them, they shouldn't even think about reclaiming his money. I earned that cash through hard work, Logan asserts. He tells the leader that if they have any grievances, they should take it up with their superior. The leader mutters under his breath, expressing that their boss is a terrifying figure and that Logan wouldn't stand a chance in a fight against him. Meanwhile, we return to Daniel, who is now in his new body, adjusting his shoes. He informs his mom that he's heading out and will return later. As he opens the door, a massive stack of cardboard boxes comes into view. His mom explains that a nearby hotel left the boxes for her to manage, which piques Daniel's curiosity about how that came to be. Later in the day, we see Logan outside, a bag slung over his shoulder. Jay approaches him, and Logan vents about how everyone seems to be after his money today, claiming he's having a streak of bad luck. Thinking Jay is begging, he tries walk past him. However, when Logan tries to dismiss Jay, he stands his ground and extends his hand. "Wait, are you trying to rob me?" Logan questions. He starts asking Jay questions, like who sent him, and if he came alone. Jay doesn't answer any of his questions, and instead starts taking off his jacket to fight. Logan thinks that he is bluffing because he doesn't look strong. He then realizes that Jay actually took his jacket off, so Logan wouldn't be able to grab onto it when they fight. After realizing this, Logan realizes that Jay is serious and tells him to follow him to an old building so they can talk with their fists. We switch to the jujutsu studio. They are on a call with someone. The leader tries explaining that they did have the money, but they were ambushed. It was all stolen. The person on the other end asks them if he must settle it when he arrives at their town next month. The leader replies with a yes, but the person on the other side says it's too bad. The caller is revealed to be Gun, and he says that he's not the collector anymore. He says a character named Gu is collecting everyone's money now. Gun reassures them that he will inform Gu about the current situation. After ending the call, we see the woman he's been tasked with protecting, sitting across the room. He expresses his relief at no longer needing to collect money from everyone, noting that watching over her is far simpler. He also mentions the opportunity to witness talent from various places while traveling with her, bringing up a specific individual his boss instructed him to monitor. Suddenly, a voice calls out from across the room, a man inquiring if he can see who this person is that the boss is interested in. Gun questions his curiosity, to which the man replies that he's simply intrigued. As the camera zooms out, we recognize the pop star who popularized those chrome rings and sneakers. Switching scenes, we find the man who betrayed Daniel to Logan and Messi earlier that week. Daniel approaches him, asking if he knows Logan's whereabouts. The man tries to play it cool in front of his girlfriend, attempting to intimidate Daniel with a silly expression, but Daniel remains unfazed. He looks away and reluctantly reveals that Logan is likely at the jiu-jitsu studio or an abandoned building with his crew. Daniel nods, looking down, and thanks him for the tip. Logan lunges forward with his right hand, but Jay deftly sidesteps the attack. In retaliation, Jay unleashes a flurry of rapid jabs to Logan's face and jaw. As Logan attempts to seize him, Jay leaps back, evading his grasp with agility. With some space between them, Jay launches into a series of high kicks, making Logan realize that his jiu-jitsu skills might not be effective in this encounter. He recognizes Jay's fighting style as Systema. It's the first time he's witnessed it in action, but he has a plan. He snatches the money pouch from his pocket and rips open the envelope, forcing Jay to close the distance. This plays right into Logan's hands, as he knows he can't hold Jay if they're out of reach. In one swift motion, he yanks the envelope away and grabs Jay by the hair, pinning him down. With Jay immobilized, Logan begins to rain punches down on his face. He secures Jay's head under his arm, cutting off his circulation. He squeezes tightly, demanding that Jay tap out and reveal who sent him. Despite the pressure, Jay refuses to give in. Logan warns him that he could lose consciousness if he doesn't act soon. Jay struggles to grab Logan's clothing, but it's futile. After a few tense moments, Jay's body goes limp. In the distance, a scream pierces the air as Daniel calls out for Jay, just in the nick of time. As Daniel floats in the air, he can't help but question why Jay has chosen to confront Logan of all people. He releases Jay to free his hands, and just as Logan's fist is about to come crashing down on him, Daniel swiftly swats Logan's hand aside. Logan is momentarily stunned by Daniel's unexpected strength, especially since Jay had struggled to defend against that very same attack. Where did these kids come from? Logan wonders. He demands to know who Daniel is and who sent him. But the moment Daniel meets Logan's gaze, a rush of emotions floods back to him. Realizing he's at a disadvantage after his recent fight, Logan decides to call it quits. "Get out of here before I change my mind," he growls. Despite his new abilities, Daniel feels a deep-seated fear of Logan that leaves him nearly paralyzed. He feels a wave of relief wash over him at the thought of avoiding a confrontation. Jay, regaining consciousness, notices Daniel carrying him, and he asks if anything still hurts from their earlier skirmish. "It was just unfortunate timing to run into one of the toughest fighters in their town," says Daniel. Jay extends his hand, revealing Daniel's $5 bill nestled within. Daniel is taken aback and asks Jay how he managed to find his lucky charm, but Jay remains silent. "You took it back from Logan instead of me." "I feel so ashamed," Daniel admits, clenching his teeth in frustration. Memories of his encounter with Logan flood his mind, and he realizes that while his body may have changed, his thoughts remain the same. The primal fear he harbors for Logan persists, regardless of his new appearance. Overwhelmed, he begins to cry onto the $5 bill, lamenting that he may have changed outwardly, but inside, he still feels like a pathetic pig. Jay jumps off Daniel's back, mistakenly thinking that Daniel's tears are a result of him being too heavy. The following day, Daniel attempts to return a coat he bought for his mom, only to find that the store employees refuse to accept it due to a stain. It was already there, he protests, but the two employees dismiss him. Daniel's mom, however, takes it in stride, saying the coat was too nice for her anyway. Just then, a booming voice interrupts, inquiring about the disturbance. The voice asserts that there is an important customer present, and they cannot afford any disputes. Daniel spins around, taken aback to find Jay impeccably dressed in a suit alongside the manager. Curious, Daniel approaches Jay and asks why he is there. Jay nods in response when Daniel wonders if he's taken on a part-time job. Jay then asks what brings Daniel to the store, to which Daniel explains he's trying to return an item of clothing, but the staff is making it difficult. Hearing this, the manager and employees visibly tense up. Jay glances at the manager and signals them to provide Daniel with a new coat right away. Grateful, Daniel thanks Jay for stepping in to help. In the back of the store, we see two employees on their knees, apologizing profusely for their earlier rudeness towards Daniel's mother. The manager barks at them to speak louder. Daniel's mom attempts to defuse the situation, insisting that apologies aren't necessary. Fast forward a few days, and Daniel is back in his hometown. We find Vasco in the gym, powering through heavy bench presses. After completing his set, he sits up and notices Daniel watching him. He asks how he can help him. Daniel boldly declares that he wants to transform himself. Vasco's eyes widen in surprise as he questions whether Daniel is prepared for the challenge ahead. Daniel expresses his desire to change not just his physique, but his mindset as well.